Hello, everybody. We are with Lynne Rowe, and she talks about becoming an entrepreneur to a CEO, being able to thrive and have balance and actually have a life while working and building, I dare say, an empire, because she is fabulous enough to help you build an empire. So, what do you think is the most important part besides working with you and hiring you? What is the most important part to shift from entrepreneur to CEO to start building success?
It's really a different way of thinking. As an entrepreneur, you are doing everything yourself. You're thinking, how do I get this done? What's the next step I have to take and all of that. But as you're growing your business and you get to the point where you've been working super hard and you just have no more time, no more bandwidth to do anything else, that's when you have to start thinking differently. You have to start thinking, who can do this for me? Instead of how do I do this? It's who can do this for me? And also you have to start thinking about that long-term, what is it that I really need to be doing? Instead of every opportunity that comes along, you need to really hone down into a strategic plan of what are the right things for me to be doing. So you're not wasting time doing the things that will get you somewhere, but maybe not where you want to get to.
I love that. So, something you don't know about me is I was on an entrepreneur competition reality show called The Blocks. And season 5, one of the things they said is imagine you have a coffee shop and someone has to sweep up the beans, but you're sweeping up the beans. And so you're not building a franchise or an empire or a chain or anything. They're like, you get stuck in the position of this needs to get done. There's no one else to do it. So I will sweep up the beans. And I feel like that's exactly what you're talking about. Everyone is sitting here going, but the beans. And you're like, no. You can hire a teenager to sweep beans. You can
Exactly.
hire a teenager to do your social media. If we're being honest, they're better than all of us combined. So it's finding that freedom almost that it's like, I trust someone with this little part. You're not trusting someone with your whole business. You're trusting them with like this, here, do this. And sometimes I dare say they are better than you at it. I have a tech guy because I
Often.
suck at tech. And I'm like, people are like, how do you run an international business? And I'm like, I don't do my own technology. I
Yeah,
try. And when I fail, I send an email crying. And then they fix, but it's because
exactly.
there's nothing I can do besides my best. And sometimes someone else's best because they're the expert. You want someone to be your web and tech guy. You want someone to be your social media marketer because that's what they do. Like, how awesome would it be if we actually let people help us succeed?
Well, and what's really interesting about this when I'm talking with entrepreneurs is I start saying, okay, so if you're sweeping the beans, let's say, for example, that's a $15 an hour job, right? It's really less than that, but that's minimum wage roughly. So that's a 15 an hour dollar an hour job. But you are a $300 an hour person, or maybe you're a $500 an hour person. And there are things in your business that you do that are probably $1,000 an hour. And if you're doing the $15 an hour job, then you're not doing the $300 an hour or
Yeah.
$1,000 an hour job.
Mhm.
And that means your business is seriously suffering because you're doing the $15 an hour job. And if you just get somebody else to do those 15, 20, 30, $40 an hour jobs for you, that gives you the time to focus on the higher value jobs, opportunities. And really, that's what grows a business.
Yes, and a big part, I don't know if you subscribe to this theory. I do. I call it a playbook. It can be called like an SOP, your procedures book. And I love them. I never used to use them because it was like it's all up here. It's all in my head. It's fine. Now I have so many Google Docs that have like tables of contents and spreadsheets and everything that lay out exactly how to do stuff. And I run events and conferences. And I don't know if you know this, but you can't do that alone. You actually need people,
Do
especially
that
if
alone.
you're short. You need someone tall to hang the sign. And the way I wrote it, people say, why do you write it the way you do? And I said, I want a slow monkey to be able to do this confidently. I don't
Yep.
want to assume that you know anything, because I want it to be easy for you. And also I don't have to worry about it. So all of my social media, all of my event setup, everything is written like down to like rudimentary steps. And you want to know something? It makes me so much happier. Like,
Of
I
course it
never
does.
have to explain signs again. I always say,
Yeah.
think of the tallest people you know, add a foot to that, and then hang it above that. That's what you do. Yep. No matter
That's
what, it's
great.
gonna be 7 feet tall minimum. So I'm like, I'm good with that. Just do it that way.
That's
So yeah,
great.
it's a
So
mindset.
here's a trick that for your audience. When you're writing standard operating procedures, a lot of people say, oh my God, it's going to take me so long to do that. I don't want to do it. Here's a trick. You do it in front of someone else, one of your team members. Then
Mm.
you get the team member to write it up, and you'll automatically see all the places where you, because we all do this, right? Oh yeah, you click here, you click here, click here, and it doesn't actually get written up in the instructions the first time around, right? But if you have someone else write it up for you, then you review it. And then you see all the pieces that are missing. And then after you've revised it from there, you give it to a third person who doesn't know how to do it and ask them to do it. Then you've got a procedure that is really pretty easy to do.
Okay, you are the sexiest person I have met this entire day at Potapalooza, which is where we're recording this, everyone, by the way. Oh my God. Okay, so the only way that I was trained how to do the playbook was, as you're doing something, have that doc open also, and then write the steps as you're doing it, or record your screen as you're doing it. Like, you just do it. And I I I can't
Yeah,
fucking
you
do
do
this
it
right
and
now.
somebody else writes it up.
That is so, because that is so
Yeah.
fabulous. I want to bottle you and keep you in my pocket. That is, because I never thought of that. I
Yeah.
never thought of doing it around somebody else
Yeah.
and being like, yeah, now you write it so that it looks, and then you'll know the steps that were I feel like you just made my life easier, which means you've made my followers' lives easier. And that's what we want. We want their lives to be easier with the help of support from other entrepreneurs and other fabulous, brilliant people like yourself, Lynne Rowe. So, oh my gosh. So, what else about entrepreneur to CEO? What else about creating success while still having a life is important to you, or that you've seen in your clients that it's like, oh, besides mindset and stuff, what else is like the big
Yeah.
blocks?
So the mindset, there's plan ahead, right? You know, it's know where you're going. Spend the time. This is a really interesting statistics. About on average, the average American spends about 15 hours planning a 1 week vacation. It's very rare that I find a business owner who has spent 15 hours planning for the success of the business that's going to pay for that vacation. Spending some time, spending some of that time to actually plan out, where are we going? Why are we going there? How are we going to get there? Just like you would a vacation, right? How are we going to get there? And then you have that plan to follow. And that saves you so much time, because you're not going off on tangents in the wrong direction. You're not doing things that are a waste of time. You're staying focused.
Oh my God. So when I first started my business, I rented a room at a wellness center in Minneapolis, and they gave me the opportunity to learn bioelectric medicine. Now, doesn't that sound awesome and fascinating? And it was. And I don't regret learning it, but it took me so far off of what I needed to do to make my business successful that, and
Yes.
once I left, I certainly don't see clients for it. And so it took this huge detour that if I would have had it written it out like a vacation, it would have been like, no, we're not stopping for shoes here. We're going to go get ice cream there. That was the plan. Follow the
That's the
plan.
plan. Exactly. Exactly. It's like you go to Disney for, let's say, for a vacation. And if you don't have a plan when you go to Disney, oh my God, you'll spend the whole time in line, right? But if you've got a plan and you know which place to go to next, all along the way, you'll probably see everything you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
But without a plan, You'll just say, oh, this looks good. Let's go get in that line. This looks good. Let's go get in that line. Then you're in every long line there is.
Yes. And I think a really good point that you made is follow your path, not someone else's. Because so many people are like, well, look at what other people in your industry are doing and then just copy them. What if that doesn't work for you? I don't know if you've noticed, I'm slightly irreverent. I cuss. A lot of spiritual people don't. And if I put my business on that type of road, it would not only wouldn't it be successful, but I wouldn't have fun with it. And here's a
Yeah.
little factoid
It
about
wouldn't be you.
Disney. So Disney, tons of lines, right? Everything. Every time you come to a turn, go left instead of right, because the vast majority of people are right-handed and right-footed. And so normally the masses will go right whenever there's a turn. So if you plan your trip around always turning left, you will be in shorter lines. And I found that because I'm left-handed and left-footed. And so it's natural for me to turn left. But when I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's going to make your trip so much more fun to do it the way that you should be doing it. It's natural for me to turn left. Why wouldn't I turn left? And
Right.
so I just find it so interesting that when you actually do what you are meant to do, it will make your life so much easier when you follow your roadmap and not somebody else's. And you stick to your plan,
Yeah.
it just makes life so much better.
As you know, as the CEO, the owner of your business, you have to lead your business in 3 different ways. You have to lead your business with a plan, with strategy, with putting all the pieces in place, right? Then you have to lead your team, whoever your team is. You have to make sure the communication is going smoothly, and you have to lead yourself. That's the third leadership thing that you have to do. And so it's the combination of those 3 that really helps you to grow your business to where you want to be.
I love that. And in leading yourself, I think a big thing is being true to yourself, doing what
Mhm.
you need to be healthy. So I am disabled. I have chronic illnesses. And so the way people will tell me like, how do you work the way you do? And I'm like, because I rest the way I do. Um, if
Ah,
I didn't
yes.
take care of myself, if I didn't lead my life in the way that I needed to. So to let you all know, I will not take this off. But the reason why I'm wearing a high collared thing, I never wear high collared things, Lynn, is because I'm actually wearing a heart monitor right now. And I didn't want to wear something low cut that everyone would see the heart monitor and that would be the focus. I wanted the focus to be on the people I'm interviewing. And it's just so interesting that it's like, but that's being true to me. But I'm
Yes.
not going to take off the heart monitor. Like you're doing what you need to lead your life as your life, but then also as your business. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, CEOs, they forget that part that it's like, oh no, I need to be here for my business. It's like you also need to go to the dentist. Like
Yes.
fix
Yes.
whatever's going on with that too. Um, so I think that is such an important part with the leadership. It's like you need to lead your life how it needs to be led, not how your business needs to be led. Like you leading you needs to be about you, not your business.
So here's what I always do with my clients. When we start to create their strategic plan, and that's always how I start with people, is a strategic plan. The first question is, what's the lifestyle that you want to be living? And then we go and build the business around that lifestyle. So if you're the kind of person who wants to be jet setting around the world, then we've got to build you a business that'll allow you to do that.
Yeah.
If you're the kind of person who wants to have a lot of vacation, take 9-10 weeks of vacation, then we've got to build build a business that allows you to take 9 or 10 weeks of vacation. So start with the lifestyle you want to be living or you need to be living, and then work your plan from there.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I started doing it that way is I had a daughter who fell and got a severe concussion, and she was home with me, unable to walk without assistance, and she literally was in bed for about 3 years, and clearly needed to have people around her to support her. And that was when I first started the business, and I was like, how am I going to grow a business and be there for my daughter at the same time? And so I developed this way of creating strategic plans so that I could have that flexibility that I needed for my daughter. But my clients heard about it and they were like, well, I've got things I want to be able to do too. So can you help me build a business that will allow me to do those things? So, one client, she was working 7 days a week, ridiculous hours. And she said, I just want my weekends off. I want to be able to work 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 and just, have my weekends off. And we created a strategic plan for her. And after she worked that plan for a couple of months, she doubled her business and stopped working on weekends. So, it's possible to do what you want to do. You just have to have a plan to get there.
Yes. And when you're true to you, success follows. Like in my opinion, in my experience, once you're true to yourself, success follows. And again, for me, like the strategic thing that we would have to plan around is my health, is
Yes.
weekly doctor's appointments, and I know some people it's their kids, some people it's
Yep.
their husband, some people are taking care of their elderly parents, some people want to travel. It doesn't have to be a burden that you're planning around. It can be around travel. It can be around fun. I promise. For me, it's around doctors. But like the way I have to plan my business is I go balls to the wall and then I crash and I go balls. And people are like, oh, well, that's not healthy. And I'm like, that is literally the only way that I can do it. And I'm not doing it in a way that's hurting myself. Like I push up to the line. You don't go over the line. You push up to the line and then you take a nap on the couch. But once I started doing that and said, because I remember when I tried, oh my God, I tried working 5 days a week, 7 days a week, like structured. And I was like,
Yeah.
I hate this. You want to know where the majority of my work gets done? It's called a nest. I am Big Bird. There are quilts and blankets and 6 different pillows. And I am in pajamas, no bra. And that's where the majority of my work gets done. I get dressed up for clients only. But that works for me, is to do it from like a big bird nest. And you just got to find what works for you. And not, I feel like a huge mindset shift for people, correct me, if you think differently, is how it looks. Because everyone thinks it's going to look a certain way. And that's
Yeah.
what's getting in their way. They're like, I need it to look this way. And it's like, if you loosen up that vice grip, it's going to look even better and it's going to serve you better. Because it's like when you think it's like, oh my God, no, I need to look fabulous and I need to be on and I need to be sitting up. And it's like, do you want to know how I write some emails laying on my side, one-handed pecking? Guess what? No one reading the email notices. No one reading the email
Exactly.
can tell that you are in your pajamas. It's fine. So how do you feel about that? About people when they see and they're like, but it needs to look a certain way. It's like, oh, honey, no, it doesn't.
I think it needs to look the way you feel comfortable,
Yes.
right? And obviously when no one's looking, you can do whatever you want, right? As long as the work gets done and it's to your standard of quality, it's fine how you look. When you're around other people, then it needs to look the way that you feel most comfortable. So, if you feel you need to be dressed up to be around your clients, then you need to be dressed up. And if you feel that you don't, that you can be comfortable in your bed, in your pajamas, then you can be comfortable in your bed in your pajamas. And
Yes.
the people who are attracted to you will say that's okay,
Mhm.
because they're attracted to you because of who you are.
Yeah. And I love the authenticity of being both. Like, I like looking like this. I like looking like I'm frozen in time. I like dressing up, but I don't like it all the time. Like, most of the time I'm in PJs. And so whenever I do social media, like that's what I'm wearing. Everyone can tell I'm in my pajamas. But when I'm on stages and stuff, I look like this. And it's letting people know, it's like, it doesn't, when you do the strategy, when you realize what success looks like, it's very rarely black and white. A lot of times it's everything you imagined shoved into a bottle. Like, and that's the magic of it. And so, yeah, it's letting people know, it's like, oh, so you feel pressured to dress up. No, I think I look pretty. that's
Exactly.
that's I
And
like the way I look.
you feel comfortable and you feel powerful when you're dressed
Yeah.
comfortably, what's comfortable for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
comfortable for you.
Absolutely. And I always tell people, and I'm more than comfortable showing people. So I will not show you the socks because they have cuss words on them. But from the waist down, we are in pajamas. And I always tell people, I'm like, no, from the waist up, I am professional on virtual. From the waist down, I will show you pajama pants. I'll hold them up, and I'm like, I have no shame, because guess what? I like being comfortable, and my pajama pants are so much more comfortable than a pair of trousers.
And I like to feel dressed up when I'm going to be seeing people, like if I'm on stage or whatever. I tend to be more dressed up than most people because that makes me feel really strong inside. It has nothing to do with what other people are going to say or think, but I feel really good because I feel beautiful, I feel powerful, and that makes me a better speaker.
Yes, I
So
love
you
that.
have to do what makes you feel comfortable.
Yes, and you're doing, because I know some amazing speakers who make 8 figures who are in jeans and a zip up hoodie all the time, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
love that for you. I'm gonna be wearing the suit.
Yeah.
And so it was. Do you know RuPaul?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, in an interview, he was asked what's going to make you successful, because when I was younger and sassier and kind of rebellious, I was like, I can do my work in pajamas, so I don't know why I would ever have to dress up. I was super rebellious. I was really pissed that no one took me seriously in my cartoon clothes. And I slowly started to mature and grow up and start wearing more professional clothes. But one of the things that RuPaul said was, you want to be successful, wear a suit, be the best dressed person in the room, you will feel better. You
Mhm.
will, and it'll show. It'll show on your face, the way you talk. And I love that. And it's not to feel pressure to do something, it's to feel empowered to be powerful.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's what I like about it. It's like, oh yeah, when I step on a stage in my cute little heels and my I'm like, I am the best thing since sliced bread. Let's go. And it just
Definitely. It
makes me
makes
feel
you feel
better.
strong and powerful. Absolutely. But not everybody, I agree with you. There are some amazing speakers who get up there in their jeans and their hoodies, and they're fantastic speakers and they have that power in them anyway.
Yes.
But it's not me. So everyone has to do what makes them feel their best, right?
Yeah. And it's especially, let's be clear, let's be honest, especially with feminine presenting people, especially with women, if you are not coming in with makeup on, if you are not coming in a bra that looks like it does something, if you're not coming in dressy clothes, if you look like the soccer mom who has not slept in 2 days with the newborn, we are not taken as seriously. That is a shitty thing, but that is society. And I always tell people, I'm like, I'm not saying anything is fair. I am saying, is this the reality that we live in the current moment, in society, in culture, in whatever? And it's like, and if that's true, then you should live or have to be successful inside those paradigms. And yeah, it's interesting to be put in those situations, but I feel like they're hard truths. Like, be your authentic self. Find a way to fit the paradigm while being your authentic self, so that
Yeah.
you are successful, so that you are taken seriously. But if you did what I did at the beginning and just rebel completely and call everyone stupid for not rebelling, you're not going to be successful calling your potential clients stupid. I'm just going to throw that out there in case anyone had any doubts, because I used to do that.
I don't recommend that as a
Not the
strategy.
best way to become entrepreneur to CEO and success. You
Yeah.
stupid. You stupid. No. So thank you so much for joining us, Lynn. This has been fabulous. I love talking to you. That playbook thing. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that. I'm so gonna do that. Thank you so much for that recommendation. If
You're
someone wants to
welcome.
work with you, if someone wants to transform their life with you, to do a strategy session with you, how can they get a hold of you?
My website is lsrconsultants.com. So, and that stands for Leadership Strategy and Results. So
I love that.
lsrconsultants.com.
Oh, yes. LSR Consultants. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, thank you everyone for listening. Remember to like this if you liked it and found it entertaining. Remember to follow and subscribe if you would like to see more of this. And comment if you have questions. We are a very interactive people. We love answering questions and helping people as often as possible. So please make sure that you do any one of those that you feel comfortable with. Go forth, be the hero of your own story, and do not forget to be offensively authentic.